Hey guys, good to meet you again. Let's watch this amazing comedy and thriller movie named Cocaine Bear. By the way guys, this is based on a true story that really happened in Georgia forest 38 years ago. I hope you'll enjoy it. An aircraft carrying bricks of cocaine is being smuggled when the jet malfunctions and begins to crash. The smuggler stuffs bricks into multiple duffel bags and attempts to parachute down to recover all he can. Regrettably, he strikes his head on the way out and falls to his death. The cocaine, duffel bags, and deceased smuggler all end up in the Chattahoochee-Oconee National Forest. A large mom bear comes upon one of the cocaine bricks and gobbles it up, becoming high and hostile. Olaf and Elsa, two hikers, are cheerfully walking. The bear rapidly apprehends the fleeing Elsa and tears her apart in front of a dejected Olaf, before the bear then follows a passing butterfly into the woods, leaving a blood-covered Olaf alone. Meanwhile, drug lord Sid meets with his fixer David and informs him that he requires his assistance in investigating the plane accident and recovering the narcotics. He asks David to bring his kid Eddie with him. Eddie is grieving the loss of his wife, and Sid thinks that this journey will help Eddie get his life back on track. David attempts but fails to cheer up his compatriot. Sari, a single mother who lives in the forest, converses with her adolescent daughter Dee. Sari had intended to take Dee to the forest that weekend in order to paint the waterfall. But she informs her daughter that she intends to take Dee to Nashville for the weekend with her new lover. Dee claims it's okay, but she appears dissatisfied. Bob, a detective, learns of the plane crash and the death of the smuggler. Bob chooses to travel to the forest to examine the smuggler's connection to Sid, whose operation he's been studying. He departs into the forest, leaving his fresh new puppy with his coworker Reba. Dee skips school the next day to go to the forest with her closest buddy Henry so she can paint the falls anyhow. They come across a block of cocaine while walking down the trail. The kids unwrap it and even take a few bites of it. The bear emerges from the bushes, drawn by the smell of the cocaine, and rushes after the children. Liz, a forest warden, is putting on lipstick and expensive perfume in preparation for seeing local wildlife specialist Peter. The armed ranger enters the gift shop and meets Vest, a local adolescent punk, who is shoplifting at the time. Vest has the ability to talk his way out of danger. Sari receives a call from Dee's school informing her that she is absent. Sari surmises that Dee has slipped away to the jungle and pursues her there. Sari rushes to the ranger station for assistance, interfering with Liz's flirtations with Peter. Despite Liz's attempts to chase Sari away, Peter decides to assist Sari and the three go off into the woods. Liz believes Dee was stolen by local youths who have been robbing people in the forest. David and Eddie arrive in the woodland and pause to allow David to use the restroom. There, the group of youths Vest, Ponytail, and Kid approach David and attempt to rob him. David assaults the children, although one of them manages to stab him in the shoulder during the fight. David then discovers that one of the teenagers is carrying a block of cocaine. He resurrects Kid to inquire about the cocaine. Child confirms that they discovered a duffel bag full of bricks and concealed it in a woodland gazebo, planning to get it at night so they could sell it themselves. David threatens Kid until the thugs agree to follow him to the pavilion. While Liz, Peter, and Sari explore the woodland, they come across a brick of cocaine in the underbrush. As they hear a horrified Henry pleading for help, Peter picks it up to investigate. They come across Henry, who is hiding under a tree and claims a bear tried to murder him. As the bear emerges from the woods and mauls Liz and Peter scoff at his accusations, taking a bite out of her butt. Sari hides while Peter climbs another tree. Peter breaks apart the block and spills the cocaine all over himself. The wildlife specialist accuses Henry of feeding the bear drugs, which he rejects. The bear starts climbing a tree to get to Henry, as Liz limps off to the ranger station to get some aid. Abandoning everyone else. As the bear scents the cocaine on Peter, it almost reaches Henry. It ignores the youngster and runs down Henry's tree to Peter's tree. It scales Peter's tree and tears him apart, while Henry leaps down to Sari and the two flee deeper into the jungle. Henry claims to have witnessed the bear dragging Dee away, although she was still alive when he last saw her. They quickly discover a trail of paint that Dee Dee emptied out of her backpack while being pulled away so that rescuers might follow and find her. Liz returns to the ranger station, where she discovers Vest and Ponytail robbing it. Ignoring the teenagers, she dials 911. The bear soon appears at the cabin and attempts to enter. Liz requests that Ponytail open the front door so she may photograph it. Liz, who is injured, and a horrible shot, accidentally shoots Ponytail in the head and kills him. The bear then smashes through a window and mauls Vest. Robert enters the jungle and proceeds to the pavilion. He discovers the duffel bag of cocaine stashed on the pavilion's roof and attempts to gain access to it. Meanwhile, an unidentified shooter appears in the jungle. Ponytail is found dead on the floor by 2 ambulance drivers who arrive at the ranger station, expressing surprise since Liz reported the incident as a concussion. One EMT attends to Liz, who is barely alive on the floor, while the other unlocks a door to a closet where blood is leaking. Within the closet, the EMT discovers the bear munching on Vest's severed skull. The bear leaps at the EMT, pinning him behind the closet door. Liz is dragged onto a stretcher and into the ambulance by the unpinned EMT. The second EMT distracts the bear and arrives just before the ambulance departs. The bear chases the ambulance, and the second EMT is unable to seal the ambulance's doors as it speeds away. Liz fires at the bear, but she misses every shot. The bear is able to enter the ambulance. It rips apart the second EMT and knocks Liz's gurney out of the ambulance, crushing her on the road. The first EMT loses control and crashes against a tree. She flies out of the windshield to her death because she didn't have time to strap up. The disoriented bear returns to the woodland. On the trip to the pavilion, Kid and Eddie bond, with Kid helping Eddie find some closure regarding his late wife. Bob, who is locked on the roof of the pavilion with the duffel bag of cocaine, ambushes the three as they approach. He climbed a tree and jumped onto the roof of the pavilion, but has no way to get off. The gangsters and the detective argue, and as David reaches for his revolver, Bob fires at him, severing 2 of David's fingers. The bear emerges unexpectedly, much to their surprise. In front of them, the bear consumes a brick of cocaine. It then comes up behind Eddie and crashes on top of him. Eddie notices that the bear is female. Reba appears unexpectedly and assists Bob in regaining control of the situation. Meanwhile, Dee Dee awakens with a damaged leg in the bear's cave. She notices she is in there with 2 cubs who are eating cocaine from a duffel bag their mother brought back to the cave. Returning to the pavilion, the bear eventually awakens and proceeds to threaten everyone on the ground. Bob removes a block of cocaine from the bag and throws it into the woods, causing the bear to pursue it. The child flees, but the others remain. Robert is suddenly shot by the unknown assailant. Sid approaches and shows himself to be the gunman. Reba admits to working for Sid in secret. The drug dealer forces the gang to continue farther into the forest in order to recover whatever cocaine they may find, noting that his connections will kill him for losing so much cocaine, regardless of the fact that it was an accident. Bob dies on the roof, his final thoughts being of his favorite dog and the life they may have shared. When Henry and Sari run upon Olaf, he is able to assist them in locating the bear cave. Olaf abandons them there, and they enter, where they are reunited with Dee Dee. They follow the cubs out of a rear door after hearing a ruckus at the front of the cave and assume it is the bear. The rear entrance is blocked off by a cliff behind the waterfall. Sid and his group were, in fact, the source of the noise at the entry. They enter the cave and find bricks of cocaine, which they track to the rear door, except for Reba who, not wanting to tempt fate, leaves them to go back to her car. At the waterfall, the gangsters run into Sari and the kids, and Sid threatens to murder them. David and Eddie ultimately confront Sid, and a fight erupts. The bear reappears and strikes before the standoff is settled. Sari gathers the children and leaps off the cliff into the river below. Eddie and David arrive shortly after, although David is grazed by a bullet when Sid shoots at the bear. Sid shoots the bear many times, and it appears to die. Nevertheless, as Sid attempts to gather the cocaine bricks himself, he tears open a bag. The cocaine falls on the bear and brings it back to life. The cubs consume Sid's intestines when the bear claws open his stomach. The other survivors of the waterfall leap are Sari, a nurse, and David. As they return to the ranger station, Reba is already there. She instructs them everybody to go and that she will hide their tracks. Reba also offers Bob's puppy to Eddie, who swears to live a better life and nurture the dog in the future. Davy values the fact that his dog is not hooked to drugs. After Sari and the kids leave, Dee Dee expresses her desire to visit Nashville with her mother and her mother's new lover. The footage concludes with unknown hikers photographing the bear and her cubs. The three bears get aware of the hikers and attack. The text on the screen mentions that there may still be cocaine bricks in the forest today.